Guys, this is my favorite holiday side dish, and it is featuring one of my favorite squashes, butternut squash. This can be super intimidating to break down. We are gonna do it Hasselback style, meaning we're gonna cut slices through the entire thing, and then we're gonna top it with a sweet brown butter with tons of those fall herbs. It's delicious, it's impressive, so easy to make. I'm gonna show you how to do it. First thing we gotta do is break this puppy down. Again, it can be a little intimidating. All you need is a really good sharp knife and a peeler. So we're gonna take our squash. I'm gonna cut both ends off. Again, you gotta use some muscle when you're getting into this. And then I like to go right in the middle first and get my first cut down, and then just wedge my knife out, and then go on the other side and come right down and give it a little zhuzh down. Again, be careful when you're doing this. It's a big squash and you just break it open. So it can be really easy. Just take your time with it. Then we're gonna take the seeds out. When I'm working with my squash, I really like to have a trash bowl next to me. It's just handy so I don't have to keep going back and forth to my trash can if you don't have one next to you. So I like to get the seeds out. Just take a regular spoon and we're just gonna scrape them out like you're scraping out your pumpkin and put them right into the bowl. Then I'm gonna put my bowl right here. We'll take our peeler. I like these, I think they call them like Y peelers. I like these a lot better. They're a little easier to manage. So if you don't have one, I would suggest going out and get one of these. And we just start peeling off all of the skin. You'll probably miss your bowl a half a dozen times, but you can collect it later. Whee. This is when we just like make it rain, feels. Now we're gonna take a sheet pan. We're gonna put a little bit of oil on the bottom, put our squash face down, oil the top, and then we're just gonna season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. This is just the first step in the recipe. We're gonna get this into a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes to soften, so it makes it easier for us to cut it into that Hasselback style, and then we'll finish up the recipe and put it back in the oven. So off she goes, 15 minutes, 400 degrees. All right, we have this one. This one has been roasting for about 15 minutes in that 400-degree oven. We're gonna let it cool down before we go ahead and cut it because we don't want to burn our fingers. So I'm gonna put this off to the side. And while that's cooling, we can go ahead and make our sweet brown butter that's gonna go over top of the squash. Time to make some brown butter. Super easy. It can seem really intimidating, but once you get the hang of making brown butter, it will change the way you cook. It adds so much flavor to every single dish that you use. All right, so I put a whole stick of butter in there, and we're gonna let this go. I have my pan on like medium heat. It seems high, it's really not that. And you're gonna want this butter to start bubbling. It's gonna start to foam up. That's what you want. And you're gonna keep looking at the pan to look for the color change. Not only are you gonna see the color change and get those little brown bits on the bottom of the pan, you're going to smell it. It just smells amazing. Once those butter solids start to brown, it is basically the signature scent of fall. I add brown butter to basically everything I do, like when I bake. I always make cookies now with brown butter. I make brownies with brown butter. It just changes the flavor and makes everything so much deeper, so much richer. It's starting. So I just swirl my pan. You don't even need any utensils. A good nonstick pan is perfect for this. And once you start to see it browning, it's usually right after we start getting all of this foam. You see all this foam coming up? That means we're almost there. It means we're at like 15 seconds, and then it's gonna start browning. And you can kind of see if you let it foam up and then you swirl it, you'll start to see the brown kind of swirl into it. Try to do it one more time so you can see it. Then you can start to see some of that brown peeking through. We're so close. Yeah, there we go. I can see it on the bottom. So now, oh, and I smell it. So I'm going to kill my heat right here. So I don't want to, this can go from like brown butter to burnt butter in a matter of seconds. So once you smell it, just remove it from the heat. And I have a hot plate here, so I'm going to actually move this out because this one stays hot. And now we're going to add in all of our herbs. So this is a blend of thyme, rosemary, and sage. I get that poultry blend from the store. It makes it so much easier. And I just cut up a whole package of that and put that right in. Oh, it just smells so good. I wish you could smell it. And you see how it starts to foam up. It immediately brings that aroma of all of the herbs to life with that brown butter. And then we're going to sweeten it up. We have a little real pure maple syrup. I'm adding about maybe a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons to that. And I also use salted butter. If you don't, or if you're using unsalted butter, go ahead and add in a pinch of salt to round things out. But I honestly like cooking with salted butter. Salt is flavor, so just gives us a leg up. And that is our brown butter mixture. It is so yummy. It's that perfect color, deep golden brown. It's sweet, it's savory, it's herby. So we're gonna cut our squash, top it with that, put it in the oven, and then we will be ready for our holiday side. This is our squash that we previously cooked for 15 minutes. It's cooled down, so now we can handle it, and we're gonna cut this Hasselback-style. So this basically means we're gonna cut 90% of the way through, so we get this like accordion opening of the squash, and we can pour that brown butter all into the insides of it. And when it goes back in the oven, it just flavors the whole thing and toasts it all up. It's delicious. I honestly, every potato and squash should be cooked this way. It adds so much flavor and it's very easy. Now that it's soft, it makes it even easier. So you just want to be careful that you're not cutting all the way through. So I'm going to take my knife, start on the big end, and I'm going to cut and just be careful that I'm like stopping right before I hit the edge. And each one is going to be like, I don't know, a centimeter apart. We're going to go all the way down the squash. And it's so much easier now that the squash is cooked. You could do this before you put it into the oven, but honestly, you'll struggle a lot more just because the squash can be a little hard to cut and handle, that it just makes it easier to do it this way. Less chance of injury and less fighting with our food. We're almost down to the end. And that's all she wrote. So now we have this opening, this accordion of this butternut squash. And so I'm going to take it, and I actually cut the bottom of it a little bit. That's okay. I'm going to transfer it to back to our baking sheet. And so now it's ready to go into the oven after we top it with this brown butter. So all we do is just pour it right over. Just get that right over top. Looks delicious. We'll save a little bit so when it comes back out of the oven, we can just finish it on the platter with a little bit more. And this goes back in the oven about, again, 10 to 15 more minutes, and we'll be ready to eat. Our beautiful squash has just come out of the oven. So it was toasting with that maple brown butter and all the herbs. It is hot. It is delicious. We're going to top it with a little bit extra of that brown butter. And now the brown butter has almost gotten like thick and syrupy, so it's even more delicious. We're going to top it right over Now, when you make a couple of these and like put them out on a big platter at your Thanksgiving or your holiday table, it looks so impressive. The colors are amazing, and you just pour all of that brown butter and all the maple syrup over top. Your guests will literally be so impressed, and it just came up in like 20 minutes. That's all it takes to make this. So easy, so impressive. Let's dive in. It looks so good. Honestly, I swear, this will turn any non-vegetable lover into a believer. It is so sweet, so salty. Those roasted herbs, it brings me right to the holidays, right to fall. You gotta try this one. It's so easy. It will definitely be a go-to all season long.